before we give you another card, we need to move the money around to make it work. Chase is a huge bank. It's the biggest bank in America, but it also gives your FICO score a beating. That you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. They're not stupid. They can look in your history and see what your history has been in spending on their cards. So repeatedly maxing out cards, paying them down, and then just running them up again. That just makes no sense. That is a big red flag to them, and they can close your accounts. I'm not being dramatic. You can't use your Chase card for that because... Hola, mi gente. Joe Barreto back with you on 850 Club Credit. I'm so glad you can join me. Well, mi gente, in 2025, Chase has taken it upon themselves to really start cracking down on suspicious behavior when consumers are using their credit cards. Now, they're doing it in a number of ways. Some of it is when you're applying for new cards, they might deny you because you've had too many open cards with them recently, or you've met the threshold of the amount of money they've been offering you in different credit card accounts, and you kind of reach that limit. So now they might tell you, before we give you another card, we need to move the money around to make it work. So today I'm going to tell you about the most risky behaviors that you really should avoid if you want to keep in the good graces with Chase. All right. Chase is a huge bank. It's the biggest bank in America. And to be honest with you, they have amazing credit cards to offer both on the personal and business side. So you want to make sure you avoid these things that I'm going to mention to you today. And I'm going to ask you to please forgive me as I look up and down, because I took notes to make sure I give you guys as many as possible. So if that sounds good to you, mi gente, let's jump into it. First and foremost, you guys already know, because we've spoken about this before, Chase's 524 rule. If you've opened up any credit card, 5 of them in the last 24 months or in 2 years, any bank issuer, Chase will deny you for one of their cards to apply for one of their cards, okay? That's the Chase 524. And to be honest with you, they will only bend it on certain cards like the Amazon Prime Visa card because it's co-branded, or if they're offering a high bonus, let's say on an IHG hotel card, they might bypass it and say, okay, we're going to let you slide on that one because it's a co-branded card. But when it comes to strictly Chase cards like the Freedom Flex, the Freedom Unlimited, the Sapphire cards, and so on, they're going to stick to this rule, okay? Next, rapid applications. If you're going to try to open up 2 Chase applications or 2 on the same day, you might get denied on the second one. So here at 850 Club Credit, mi gente, we're always trying to find out new ways to help you stay on top of your credit and finances. So if you're ready to finally organize your credit cards and payments all in one place, download our free credit card tracker. It's a simple Google Sheet that helps you manage up to 15 cards, track your payments, and stay on top of your finances. All you need to do is just scan the QR code or check the description box below for instant access. Yeah, you're going to see people on Reddit that are going to tell you, oh yeah, I did it this way and I was in incognito mode. Guys, there's no reason to really try to game this system. Just apply when you need to apply. Rapid acceleration of applications not only hurts your chances with Chase, but it also gives your FICO score a beating. That you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. So that's another issue that you really want to avoid. The other thing is, Chase has a rule when it comes to their Sapphire card, so the Reserve and the Preferred, that if you got the bonus on one of them once, you have to wait the 48 months to get it on the other card. Plus, you can only get it once on that card for your lifetime. It doesn't matter how many years go by. Now, some people will say after 7 years, you could probably do it because Amex has a similar rule. And if 7 years passes, usually with Amex, you're still able to get it. So I'm telling you right now, it might happen with Chase, but right now, that's in the books for them. Once in a lifetime rule. Manufactured spending. This is a headache, guys. This is when you're trying to just buy things to meet the spending requirements to get a sub offer. For instance, if they tell you you need $8,000 to spend to get 100,000 Ultimate Rewards points by Chase, and you start buying gift cards and then you resell those gift cards, or if you start sending money to other people in your family, let's say using Venmo or Zelle to pay them, and you use that as a charge, Those are all things that are going to really hit their red flags, and they're going to say, wait a minute, we're going to put a halt to this. But manufactured spending, as I have it here, it's the buying and reselling of gift cards to meet spending requirements or earning points by paying friends and family through apps and having them pay you back. That's manufactured spending. You don't want to do that. Okay, I can't be any clearer with that, guys. The next is misusing bonus categories. Now, sometimes with certain cards, like let's say the Freedom Flex, where every 3 months you're going to get the opportunity to earn more points on a certain category. Let's say dining out, going to the drugstores, supermarket spend, so on and so forth. So here's the thing when it comes to misusing bonus categories. When you intentionally manipulate the spending to trigger the bonus categories with high volumes of spend, okay? So basically you're maxing out those things to get the bonus points. They're not stupid. They can look in your history and see what your history has been in spending on their cards. So all of a sudden, if they see that you're just what we call sub hunting, going out and just looking for cards to get their sub bonuses, right? And you're really not intending on using the card as intended. So in other words, instead of using the credit card for a business card for business purposes, and now you're just trying to run different things just to get all the points, and then you're never going to use it again. That is a big red flag to them, and they can close your accounts. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being real honest with you, okay? Next thing, unauthorized points transfers. Now, here's the thing. Chase has something really cool that you can transfer. If you live in the same household with your spouse or your son or your daughter or other relative, and you have the same address and everything is the same for home, where your billing is and so on, you could share your Chase Ultimate Rewards points with each other in that household. But remember what I said, it has to be with the address on file. Here's the problem. Ultimate Rewards points to unauthorized third parties other than a spouse or domestic partner can result in suspension and termination from the program, okay? And they can forfeit the points that you've earned. Is that clear? That means they could claw back any points that you got. So if you had that 100,000 point sign-up bonus, they can take the 100,000 bonus points back and close your account. Now, the next category is risky or suspicious activity, and that's going to include credit cycling, so repeatedly maxing out cards, paying them down, and then just running them up again. That just makes no sense. That's good. They're going to know that you're doing something that's illegal and you shouldn't be doing in the first place. Again, nowadays they can see things instantly. If you think about it, the moment you apply for a card, and if you have any of these filters built in with LifeLock or any other agency that notifies you that someone is checking your credit, and then your phone gets an alert, right? Think about how these banks can just look at your credit history and see what your spending has been, that you went from spending $150 a month to now $3,000 a month really easy. Something is up, okay? Just think about that. Fraudulent activity, and that's just literally as it says, illegal action, account closure. They could just take your funding away. You don't want to use the card for illegal purposes. This is one, I'm going to be real honest with you. There are people that have personal business cards and use it, personal cards and use it for business expenses. And I understand sometimes the lines are blurred. So let's say you're going out and you have your Chase Sapphire preferred card, and you're out with a bunch of friends, you're using it for dinner, you pay with that card, right? Let's say you forgot and you have also the Ink preferred, similar sounding name. One is a business card, the other one is personal. But now you're using your business card, you're out with your friends and you're saying, yeah, this was a business dinner. And yet you were celebrating, Anthony's birthday. It's you're not supposed to do that. Will you get caught again? I doubt it. I'm not here to throw fear into you. I'm being real honest. But there's a reason why you should separate personal and business. That's why they have cards that are similar in name and what they might offer you in terms of perks, but one is for personal and one is for business expenses, especially if you have an LLC, okay? Limited liability corporation. You want to make sure you use those cards for business cards only as intended. It also makes it easier when it comes time for you to file your taxes because you keep things separate, okay? The other thing is, guys, and I'm going to end it with this. You know how you get those buy now, pay later deals? Klarna is one of them. So Chase now has actually taken themselves off. You can't use one of those buy now, pay later and use Chase as the card to make that transaction. They stopped that, okay? And actually, they called it a BNPL, so buy now, pay later plan. So especially with Klarna being the largest one, and usually if you buy, let's say, clothing online, you'll see at the end, they're gonna tell you, pay over time. Klarna is another way to pay it. You can't use your Chase card for that because they've seen that a lot of people will use their cards, make these purchases, take the time to pay them off, get the points, and then return the items, and then what? Again, they're not stupid. They're in business for a reason. So, mi gente, do yourselves a favor. Go over what you're doing with these cards. Don't try to game the system. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth getting a black mark on your, credit history, having your FICO score hit, or having a bank shut you down. Because then opening up with them again is going to be a nightmare. So as always, mi gente, I thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere else, but more than anything else, I thank you for giving me the privilege of your time. Until next time, mi gente, take care.